So then, as I said, there is no noise. There is only the arising of sound and that which greets it. Everybody's nodding so far. Anybody out there object to that concept? Yeah, so far we're all good. So then, what's the definition of a problem? A crisis. What's some other words we use for that stuff we don't like?
Yeah, immediately I just thought of like anything that we hold on to, anything we touch to and grab them, make ours.
And make ours. Did everybody hear Anthony? Siobhan, could you hear Anthony?
No.
Thank you. He said anything that we grab and he went like this, that we hold on to, that we attach to, and that we make ours. I love that we make ours. So then I actually, this was an accidental segue. I read an article in Tricycle recently, and the name of the article was, I'm going to find it here, Sitting with the Very Thing I Can't Get Rid of. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
Sitting with the very thing I came to practice to get away from, we could say. Sitting with the very thing I want to ditch, cut off, hide, bury, sever, something like over there, get it over there. And so then, does anybody remember the story? I've told it a couple times about Milarepa. In fact, I know for sure that Jim does. I'm going to make Jim come on. Jim, come on. What do you know about Milarepa?
Yeah, well, I mean, he started out in a bad situation.
You mean, yeah, this being human thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was sad.
He seemed to have gotten that wrong. And unfortunately, I'm sure I followed his path, not maybe murderous, but close. And he seemed to have figured out that he wasn't getting anywhere on that murderous path.
Yeah. Right. That's the other side of it, isn't it? The other thing we do is grab for stuff, right? Make mine. So Milarepa was a monk in a cave, and he went into the cave because he thought he could get away from the demons. Now think about this in relationship to your practice, right? He went into the cave to sit silently and still. He replicated the teachings of the Buddha in this because he believed there the demons couldn't get him. And he stayed in the cave. I mean, it was long, it was years, right? It was years anyway. It didn't come out. People would walk by and kind of make fun of him in there. And one day he finally ran out of firewood. It happens. You need shit. I got to go out. And so he went out briefly, but of course, timidly to get the firewood, but pretty sure, right, once he walked out. And we all know about this, right? We could call that out of our comfort zone, maybe travel, hitting the front door, right? It's all true. And he goes out to get the firewood. Brenda, good morning. Good morning. Please join us. We've got a little spot right over here for you. Do we need a chair? You'll be okay there. Is there another one somewhere? Thank you. We're just welcoming Brenda, who we haven't seen in so long. So I'm finishing the story of Milarepa. He goes out to get the firewood, and he doesn't get eaten. And this is pretty good, right? He goes, this is because of my practice. I've been saved or supported. We have this chair back here.
Are we trying to not block the door?
No, we can block anything.
Okay.
Just put yourself right there. We're just coordinating. Hold on a minute. We had some other friends arrive. That's heavier than we wanted, but it's going to be the most comfortable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are. I'm gonna shine on Brenda for a second, just because haven't seen her in so long. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, you as well. So Milarepa, so what happens? Milarepa goes into the cave for years, practices, wants to get out of the suffering, says this is the only way, by myself, in practice. He's a master meditator. He goes out to get the firewood finally. He's sure he'll be eaten. No, he walks into the cave. What's there? All the demons. All the demons. And he fights with them, and now he's got the wood, and he can't get rid of them. And he can't get rid of them. So then what does he do? Jim, do you remember this? What do you do? You're in the cave. You thought you'd get away. You couldn't get out. There you are. There they all are. They start to eat you. He sits down and practices the Dharma. And like Mara, right, there's another similar story, Mara, who comes really to assail the Buddha, right, as he is sitting under the Bodhi tree, that tree we have right there in the middle of our garden now. And what Mara does, it's the reverse, Mara, everything, right, throws everything, illness, aging, death, seduction, right, delicious foods, and the Buddha, nothing, just says, come to teach, come sit, come be here. And so we all go to, I think, all of us, including me, and probably me the longest, come to practice often with an either very direct idea about getting rid of something or getting something, or equally problematic, getting rid of, right, like the demons, or getting, what do we try to get? Enlightenment, spirit, right? Protection. I thought, whoa, if I'm practicing, suffering will end. It won't be there. It was right. I just wanted it right then. I just believed it should all be happening now. And then when my son got diagnosed with autism, right, I was like, well, this is not working. This is not working. Wait a minute. I was no different than Milarepa. I wanted it all to go away. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want it all to go away? But except this is not the point of our practice. So whatever else practice we do today, the practice we won't do is the trying to get away from practice. Let's do that one. How about that? Let's do the not trying to get anything else practice. What would that one look like? And then what would it actually look like? And I want to hear, what would it look like? I'm not trying to get to anything else practice, not trying to get rid of anything practice. What would it look like?
Would be staying in your body
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah, just hanging out in there, this body like this, whatever's that is, embodied. What else would it be? Any thoughts out there?
Examining suffering.
Examining the demons? No.
No?
Mm-mm. No. Recognizing. We would recognize, oh, demon like, well, you've got a beard and big gold. Whee!
What's the difference between examining and recognizing?
What's the difference between examining and recognizing?
I know this one.
Margie's an expert. We'll talk about that at the end. We will talk about that because that's actually a critical point. That's actually how we think we're going to get rid of the demons, don't we? We're going to learn their names. We're going to learn their particular movements. I just saw that. Now I know you. I think I do anyway. We think, and all that thinking gets right in the way of the Dharma.
Renee's is calm abiding.
Calm abiding. It's a lovely word. Yeah. Then the point is what, who's saying?
Completely open.
Completely open. Completely open. What else?
vulnerable,
vulnerable. Sure. Present, we could use all those kind of words. But the words actually don't serve that well, do they? Because they're lovely. In fact, that favorite word, calm abiding, you just go, to the word, right? It's a lot harder to just be still, present, right? Recognizing, not analyzing, recognizing when there's something. What are the two conditions where we go, nope, can't sit here anymore? Like Milarepa for years, then went, can't sit anymore. Got to go. Over what? Two conditions. And you're going to notice them as soon as I hit that bell. Well, if you're paying attention, you'll notice them before I hit the bell. Two conditions, things I want and things I don't. And how continuous is that? How often would you say that occurs? Let's say every breath. The actual recognition of that, its recognition, actually is the beginning of the what? Greeting, opening, including. And then we learn in the training that stillness, silence, and abiding, Renee said, not to move.
So you can recognize what you want and you don't want? Okay.
You can recognize. And then the training, it's not over. Recognizing is helpful. In fact, I would say it's the first step. And if you don't have it, you can't choose to, respond to its reality. There it is, things I like. There it is, things I don't like. There it is, things I want. There it is, things I don't want. Here it is, things I'm now craving. Here are things not only that I'm not craving, but I'm repulsed by, I'm rejecting, I'm denying, and the recognition grows, it deepens, and then eventually the training says, and sit still. Now in the Zen tradition, by the way, they say sit still and they mean it, because if you move, you get went with the bamboo stick. I don't think that's the still that the Buddha was talking about, though. Not that I don't think embodied can't help, because I actually do, right? We set the body, which sets the mind, right? Which sets the heart. So any one of those doors is pretty good start. Set something in stillness, whatever that, right? And ultimately it is stillness of mind, sitting mind, stable mind, unmoving. We even use these words, unmoving mind, so that all the glistening, glittery, happy, delicious, sexy things we want, we go, there they are, sexy, delicious, unmoving mind. And what do we do in the other? I gotta get away. We don't do that either. And does anybody know why? That was understood to be the whole training. We don't move when it comes by yummy, and we don't move when it goes, ugh, can't stand them, don't want it. Because that's us in like Milarepa, saying, yes, this is here, this is true, and in my unmoving nature, not analyzing, but actually abiding, being with, I will see its true nature, and that it, remember, just like sound being noise, is not the problem at all. There is no problem then. There are arising conditions. They are what they are, furry, but they are not problematic, because we see the true nature of the object first often, and then more importantly, with continued practice, we see the true nature of our own heart mind. So we get this. That's why we practice. That it is a training, literally. So we're going to do that now. Everybody get the idea? Can someone throw me the fling over, Tanya, the box? Just toss it. Nice job. Okay. We're athletes beside. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's all you get. Only in the thinking. Okay, here we go. So we're going to practice. I'm going to give some instructions for this recognize, right, without analyze. And there is a difference. We'll see if we can't discover that. I love the question. And so then sit comfortably. We sit for a while here. So we're not going to be a 20 minutes. We're not a 20-minute sitting group. That's why we have so few Sangha members. No, I'm joking. I'm making myself laugh. Sorry. That was a joke for me. And even before a bell strikes, even before we are officially meditating, we can in this very moment open to awareness. And in the momentary stillness, we've only been still for a breath or two, we begin to notice, that's the recognition, things like sounds. And this morning we might notice not only sounds, but the pleasant quality of sound. And if you're still for just a few breaths, what you'll notice is that slight pull. It could be very subtle, but that enjoying, liking, wanting sound, especially this sound. And so I'm going to offer that before we strike the bell, because I want you to see the difference between that ever-seeking mind nature that's going, that pleasant bird sound, and actually arriving to sound with abiding. But just feel that for a moment. Like I just want to stay right there in that sound. It's pretty pleasant. And then we've got a blackbird now is cawing, and that's maybe or maybe not quite so pleasant. And feel down into the body and the vibrations of each, the sensations of each, those pleasant little Tweety birds, or whatever sounds happen to be arising in your space. We're going to use that. And then invite the mind back here to the body for a moment. Let's feel the feet in contact with the floor. We're going to shift attention here. Maybe the warmth, the hardness, for sure the contact. Feel the vibrations within the feet. And then moving up from the feet into the legs, we're just going to do a little mini suturing, gathering the mind here to the body, the weight, the bend, the inner and outer sensations. And then up from the legs into the hips. Moving up into the back. Lower, the mid, the upper back. And then just moving for a moment into the arms, breathing down and into the arms, and then into the hands. And then back up the arms, up into the head. And then coming down with the out breath down into the face, letting the face be soft and relaxed. The throat be open. The chest waving with the in and out breath. Down into the diaphragm, the belly. And with the next out breath, settling down all the way down into that still point. At the end of the out breath. And we're going to just offer a light touch of attention there. And we're going to use Renee's word, calm abiding. Let's see if we just can't open and rest. And then the arising in breath, out breath, and rest. There is no good breath. There is no bad breath. The beauty of the breath is its ever moving nature and the stillness of mind invited to greet it. So we're just going to rest here for a time. And we begin in the breath precisely because of its neutral nature. Its ever-changing reality, just like life. And this is the beginning of the path, the training, the practice. Short breath or long, one we like and one we don't like. There's a habit of mind that begins almost immediately, and it is a demand that we place on ourselves and the practice, which is to try to glue the mind to the breath. And it really doesn't work. It's actually quite addictive and seeking. We're seeing if we just can't create a space. And we make it a little bit larger than the breath. So you might even consider the whole breathscape in the body, for example, in which you rest the mind, just allowing the breath to come and go. And in just these few breaths, we notice the seeking, not seeking nature of mind, the thinking mind, the one that gets pulled back to sound, the one that gets moves over into thoughts about the day, thoughts about the practice, thoughts about the sangha, thoughts about the teacher, thoughts about the teach. It goes on. And no matter what, no matter the object, no matter the deliciousness of the object, no matter the repulsion of the object, we come right back to the refuge of the breath. And for now, we're simply going to abide the breath. It isn't that we won't open to sound and sensations, but we provide a quality of mind with just this one breath, just this one moment. Noticing breath and not breath. The first part of the training is finding the breath. The second part of the training is noticing not breath. and with a smile, with gentleness and essential friendliness. These are essential qualities of mind. We invite the mind, the thinking mind, back to the breath. And we abide with recognition. The breath itself. The breath we like and the breath we don't like. Pacifying this craving mind. Staying in the experience of the breath, not the thoughts about. all refuge, all protection, all safety, all goodness. Right here in this steady, stable, unified, unmoving mind. We recognize the breath and the not breath. And we are skillful, stable. We do not analyze the breath or sound or thought. We simply see it in its true nature, arising, changing, and passing. Coming and going. Not me, not I, not mine. Not the delicious thought or the murderous one. Awareness itself abides it all. And then we can naturally, it's less likely to be an instruction then an arising, the mind in its stability will open beyond the breath to sounds or sensations or thoughts without movement. Just the container of awareness opening to include, not craving, not resisting, simply abiding. And then expanding the container of attention beyond the breath to include sounds, thoughts, sensation, and see the unmoving nature of awareness. Nothing to cling to, nothing to get rid of. And whatever I came to practice to get or to get rid of, wherever those ideas were, simply smile. Abiding the breath, the body, rising sounds, smells, tastes, and objects of mind, thoughts, images. And we sit. With them all. And all will be well. May this practice contribute. So what's the difference between recognizing and analyzing?
It seems huge, at least in that experience that the recognition allowed for surrender, allowed for opening, and the analyzation was profoundly like contracting, kind of thing making, fucking just the demon would come alive when I analyzed.
It's the demon mind. It's the demon mind. And who's the one who saw it? Who's the one who knows it? Recognizing mind. Awareness mind holds analyzing mind. Rejecting mind, craving mind, seeking mind, getting rid of little mind, right? So that analyzer is a thinker. Awareness is clearly holding it all. It sees the analyzing. It would be like experiencing sound, which is just a knowing, right? Doesn't even require name. We do that at the beginning, like, oh, sound, oh, breath, oh, right? Oh, thought, oh, just to get into a little training with relating to object without, or right, just forming open relationship, I think somebody said. My teacher, Joko, used to say, just because there's a cow in the field, you don't have to describe it all, because that's some kind of attachment. You don't have to go, well, brown, it's about 18,000. It's got this, it's got that. She said, you are forming by virtue of that attachment, craving or not craving relationship. Be watchful. Be watchful. And there is some training in awareness of objects and with their characteristics, it says. With their characteristics, especially in the early training. So you say breath. First, you just can put the target of the mind on breath, and then on, short breath, long breath, in breath. There is some thinker, namer, prescriber there. And then really that's just to go, recognizing change, recognizing impermanence, recognizing that it doesn't stay. That's actually the point of it, right? It isn't to analyze it more. It's to go, no matter what I'm about it, liking, not liking, in and out, long and short, pleasant and unpleasant, wanting and not wanting. What's the other character, right? Here it is, there it goes. Doesn't, right? Anybody notice that? Sounds you like, sounds you don't like. Same characteristics. Not me, not mine. Right. And then how does that really, that's just the training methodology. The real point is, so how does that help? What does that have to do with your life?
Thinking of sunsets, thinking of analyzing the sunset. What? Oh my.
Yes.
And when I find myself doing that, I'm drawn to nature and I feel I'm part of nature. I feel full, one with nature, appreciation. And is that, what path is that?
I like the question. Larry's question is, so when I'm in nature and I feel awe or wonder or connection, right? And I notice the oranges. So these are characteristics, right? That's what he's saying. So I notice the oranginess of it, the pink-ish of it, right? So is there any problem there? Anybody, any problem? Not really, because let's go back to the breath for a second. So I notice this breath is long and this breath is short. This breath is in, this breath is out. It says actually that's a part of the training. It's good to know things and their ever-changing characteristics.
What about the cow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, how is that different from the cow?
It isn't.
Wow.
Not different. No difference.
That's when you say, damn, I don't see any of that green flash, or how come it's not that bright?
No
How come-
judgment.
The quality of mind is what determines it. There is no characteristic because there is no sunset, is there? Better than another.
But we have a tendency.
Well, this is what we're talking about.
Countless times.
This
Well,
is what,
What about last Thursday? Did
Yes.
you see the one? Well, let me show you this on my phone that I
Yeah.
got from blah.
uh-huh. This is what we're talking about. So if there is no sunset, if there is no moment, we'll go there. If there is no breath, better than another. Except by preference, bias, attachment, and aversion. The mind that is wanting and the mind that is not wanting. Where is the practice? In the quality of mind, or we would say heart mind, right? If there is no sunset, better than the other. If there is no moment, better or worse, other than by preference, bias, and the habits of mind. And is it not true? Where is it? Where do you have the example that it is not true? Is this sky better or worse than what?
Well, isn't like the process of comparing it, using your thinking mind, you're taking your.
It's using not only thinking mind, it's using preferencing, wanting, craving, addict mind. I want the sunny day. I want the blue sky. I want the pinks, right? I want the clang, right? Is there any moment in nature? Is there any moment then in the practice, in relationship, better or worse than the other?
Why you feel closer to nature though, when it puts on a good show.
Why do you feel closer to nature when it puts on a good show?
Maybe because appreciating that moment, whether it's good or bad or whatever, without comparing it.
Well, it's just a desire, you know, it's like you're looking at this art piece, you're looking at this tasty treat of the sky, you know. It's just, it's stimulating your mind.
And who decides which one's better?
You do.
Based on what? Better based on what?
Based on your mom saying, this is such a beautiful sunset. Look at this sunset.
Let's give it to the moms. It's that. They're the one.
You don't
Yeah.
remember?
Well, of course, there is a little training in it, right? Often we wake up to cymbals clashing a little bit more than we wake up to the sound of one finger touching the other. Why? Not better, not more or less, just what? Oh, like took that. Right? We wake up finally in awe, wonder, curiosity, openness. Number one, when it's big, right? It's big. We wake up in strong winds and hurricanes also, don't we?
I was feeling the cold air, the breeze coming through during this practice. And it was actually a great reminder to refocus on my breath because it felt like the breath of the wind.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, it's the breath. I gotta go back to the breath.
Yeah, it is the breath. The wind, this is one of the things I think that opens for us. We start to sense, feel, and know the breath in everything, don't we? And it's ours too, right? The breath of the wind, the breath of the, right? Sometimes in a long retreat, it feels to me like the plants are breathing. And I have a strong sense of that. And then it feels like everything's breathing. Friendship hall's breathing. The paintings on the wall are breathing, right? And these in the old training, they would say that was psychic, or there was a couple of the words for that.
You let me in.
Should I have not let you?
No, you do it.
I'm going to mute you and see if that helps. Did you want to say something, Carrie?
No, I'm just on my phone now instead of.
Okay, because you died. Yeah.
I died.
So then, so what's the practice today? What's your practice? And then let me back that up first. We're going to talk about that second. What brought you here that you don't have to get rid of, or you don't have to get?
What I'm noticing is that the thing that I've been attempting in various innumerable and futile ways to get rid of since I was a teenager is like the very portal to awakening.
This is exactly right. It is the thing. The very door you were trying to run out of is the door to awakening. I'm going to let Anthony say what he means.
Sure. So the thing that I'm talking about is, if it were given psychopathological name, it would be OCD, compulsive disorder and just the intrusive thoughts and things like that. So in my attempt to cure this, throughout my life, it had always involved pushing it away somehow, because they were repulsive, because they were like ego dystonic, not aligning with who I thought I was. And then I tried that through, Western medication. I tried it through psychotherapy, and then eventually I tried it through like drugs and alcohol for many years, and that didn't work. It's over, and blah blah blah. So in the Dharma, on the path, it's taken me years to recognize this, but I finally, I'm realizing that the pushing away of the unwanted thought is, precisely the kind of, give me the yummy stuff, give me the good feelings, the good feelings that drugs, alcohol, sex, food, all the external things can give. Give me the warm and fuzzies, and be gone like sharp, gross, blah, whatever, however you describe it. So it's the same. I mean, it was grasping an aversion writ large, and so as I've kind of practiced, that the more obvious things were, the want of drugs, or the dislike of like big kind of I know I'm kind of going off, I'm sorry.
That makes sense.
But the bigger thoughts, those were kind of some of the first to go, but then that grasping and aversion got more and more and more subtle, more and more and more narrow, to where I'm recognizing now that the man, I'm sorry, that was a really big meditation for me. So
Yeah.
went pretty deep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then the mind stills,
Yeah.
because it's not pulled by the perceptions of good and bad. The perception is simply
Right.
thought is thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, there is no thought better than another. See, this is what analyzing does. It
Right.
gets you caught in your content.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that thought, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, not that one. That's a bad. Oh, this sunset. Love that one. Ooh, gray.
Can I contribute to one last thing? Because like the point of that whole spiel just came to me. Was that as they became like more and more subtle and more kind of like came in, they they became the same thing. It was like it all became
That's
the
right.
same
Wanting
thing.
and repulsing is all.
It's all part of the,
Right.
it's all the movement.
Yeah.
It's all the grasping. It's all the eye making. It's all the egoic self who goes, gotta have it, gotta get rid of it, gotta be it, gotta, and boy, do we invest. Boy, do we invest. Right, don't we? Big time. Gotta have it like this, gotta have it like that, gotta be like this, gotta be. This is one of the things I can't stand. I'm allergic, right, to this concept of enlightenment. Right, because I got to be some other way. Well, this is not going to work out. It is not going to work out. What is enlightenment if not this moment? I mean, really. Feet cold, itchy nose, little runny, right? In recognition with abiding, a quality of mind. And we're training, aren't we? That quality, which is why I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say practice every day. For that, because we forget, because the thinking, preferring, right, mind that Larry's talking about and Anthony's talking about, and you noticed in your practice, right?
Well, it makes sense with the in the Buddhist tradition of like when you're truly enlightened, you reincarnate into another being, because being a human, you can't really be enlightened because you're always going to have to go back to that same stuff every day.
Yeah, and what I'll say is we're enlightened already, right now, as long as we don't get caught. It isn't that we have the thoughts. There's no problem in the thoughts. See, we don't have to get rid of anything. There's no problem in this body. It is dying. It is. It is being born. It is. It's not a problem, this human life or this incarnation. This is the myth, is I have to transcend somehow. That was Milarepa's idea. Let me go to the cave and transcend this human life. It is not going to work. How do I recognize, embody, bring awareness, compassion, right? Wisdom, equanimity. We cultivate it in the training, right? And you notice, oh, then just with thoughts like this. No thought problem, no breath problem, no life problem, no object problem. Not really. Not until what? I lose my mind. I lose that mind. And I get caught in if only 10 pounds, if only we'd have more sex more, if only you could be nice to me, if right, that's and we get, as is necessary, it says in the training, to get disgusted, distaste for the game. We become dispassionate, like I don't even want to play. Like, oh, forget about it. Pulling at this, wanting this, not wanting, it's exhausting. Isn't it? It's just plain old exhausting. And then we get worn out. Don't we, from it all? And really it's we're wearing ourselves out. That's not life. That is not life doing that.
OCD forensic analysis of everything my entire life has empowered those demons so much that I was a prisoner in my mind and I had a life sentence. And I just recently got parole. And I know that it's like I need to just gain, I need a little PO officer.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I turn back, I start walking back.
That's right.
And so being
That's
in my
right.
body
That's right.
and letting go of that analysis, there's nothing to know there. I knew that many years ago. And I just couldn't,
Yep. Habit trap.
yeah.
Habit trap.
It's interesting because my husband recently had an analogy that finally made it click.
Mm.
And he said, your ego is not bad. Stop fighting it. It just needs to rest. And
Yes.
so I like brought that into this meditation. And I was like, every time I kind of wanted to latch on to the thoughts, I was like, just let it rest.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly.
it was weird. Like, physically, I felt like when I caught myself getting pulled by the thoughts, I felt like I was going down. And when I let them go, kind of, I felt like I was coming up. Like I felt physically like my mind was resting here when I let it go. And when I started kind of like got attached, my mind came down to here. Does that make sense? Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah. The grasping self gets, it's kind of in here, isn't it? It's the hungry ghost. It's kind of got a visceral kind of to it.
It's
Right.
amazing to me that so many times I feel like, oh yeah, I did this. That whole grasping and analytical mind is kind of my default nature, right?
The
And
default
so
mind.
it's the remembering, right?
Yeah.
That always gets me, because when I'm in the deep meditation, there is no philosophy. And then the ego is like, oh, yeah, you really
You
nailed
got
that.
this. You jump right back.
And I'm gonna go, kid's not gonna be up body and I
Yeah.
can pick him up and right away I'm gonna go into this is supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen. Right back in it with life. So
Yeah.
that integration is always the real struggle, I think, for all of us, but particularly for me.
I doubt it, but yes.
I can feel it
Yeah.
becoming like cloistered nun.
Right.
Like, I could just meditate all day long.
Yeah.
And not have to deal with life at all.
And then Milarepa and you would all realize that there is no cave big enough.
I can't stay here forever.
That's not the point, is it? It's how to go into life and actually bring some quality. Trained, right? We have to train for it. And yes, we're all going to, right? I'm going to go upstairs for that chai tea all over now. My stove, my floor, the pan, and really see, objects, no problem. And what's the remembering? Everyday practice is the remembering. Everyday practice cultivates that refuge so that I can, rather than move into the object and go, I can move back, breath, rest. And we take those 3 breaths on purpose in real life, don't we? We do. How many does it take? Well, just the one you remember. That's the one, just the one that you can remember. And then take 2 more for fun, right? Just to recalibrate that. And then we start again going, okay, liking, not liking, wanting, not wanting, me making, other making, time making, object making, object making. Now that's an interesting idea. Object making. Because according to the teachings, there are no other anything. What about that? There is no sound independent of you. No object independent of you. No feeling, no thought, no other. And how do we practice that? I don't know without resting in it for some amount of breaths. I don't know. I don't know how to remember that because you look like you're over there to this eye. Right? Don't you? Not to this one, but to this one. You just look. And I think we have to watch the object making, self-making mind. That's the one. It's the separator, isn't it? It's the sufferer. It's the thinker, the breather, the one who knows, the one who doesn't know. We get all up in that, right? And then it's exhausting. I'm tired saying it. Don't you? Didn't you feel like, that's just depleting, right? Not the practice though. It's exhilarating. It's inviting. It's awakening. It's opening. Right. So let's watch for our objects. Let's watch for object making this week. We'll check in. Object making. Who's the object? My son who's still sleeping. What's the object? The chai tea on the stove. What's the object? This thought, murderous, pornographic, connecting or disconnecting. No, there is no object that disconnects us.
Emptiness is scary.
Well, because then where am I? Where am I? That's why we don't want to let go of that. Because then where's the I? So we actually prefer the thought and the guy who's right? The thinking, because then something I got a handle, and I got a handle I can push against, and I got a handle I can clean. It doesn't matter which kind of handle. Yeah, right. And so what's this? This is the practice. This is the Dharma. These are the teachings. They are true. Thank you, science. Thank you for helping us, because we're so materialistic, aren't we? We need the evidence. Well, that's good. Now we got it. Default mode network. We got the words for it. That's spectacular. Amygdala. Oh boy, I love this stuff. Right? because now it's just not woo. Right? And now we don't have to attach it to words we don't say, to Pali or Sanskrit or Tibetan or, right? We don't have to. Not that the words aren't lovely too. They're just not ours. They're not ours. When I said default mode network, everybody nodded like this. Right? Hey. Like, oh, yeah, no, I get that. That worked. Okay. We're going to practice again for a few minutes. So I'm just going to check in and see if anybody wants to say anything else before that. This is just a few minutes as we offer our dedication.
Can I contribute?
Yes.
I think where we're getting hung up as a culture is that, yay, science, I love it. I love what you just said in relativizing all of
Yeah,
the-
it's just culture.
Yeah. And yet, you know, the bridge that we haven't quite crossed is that we're still so dedicated to the analysis in science
Yes.
that when one begins to awaken and touch the awakening state and live into the awakening state, the analytical mind, in an attempt to make sense of that, is fucking nuts.
That's right.
Like it gets really.
Well, you'll only work with what you can have evidence
right,
for.
right.
And you can't have evidence for most of it.
Yeah.
You can have experience.
Mhm.
And but that requires what? Practice.
Yeah.
See, this is why we're not going to get there with all the thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking, facts. I don't know how many articles there are now. Oh my God. Right? Saying this is true. It's not going to help you 1 ounce. Not 1 ounce. That word's not going to help you at all if you don't have an experience of that.
Which is why I love what you said about just learning to embody, learning to drop into.
That's right.
That's what it's got to happen. It can't
Can't
Yeah.
have words.
Think quickly too. You're saying one breath,
One breath.
one breath. It
Right
doesn't
here.
have to be a whole hour. It can just be one breath.
No, one breath. And then if you really are opening in that one breath, you'll open to 2. You won't be able to help yourself because that's home. That's refuge. That's wholeness. That's right. Whatever those things are without having to go anywhere else. Yeah. So here we are. Let's come back into the body. And then in the Dzogchen tradition, it says there is no instruction. There is only this awakening. This body, this mind, this heart, like this. And may we dedicate all the teachings, all the Dharma, all the practice, all the not practice. May we dedicate this to the end of suffering, the end of confusion, the end of greed, the end of aggression, all afflictions. May they be dispelled by this quality of heart mind. And may we gather up the blessings, the merits, and the benefits of this practice today and all practice. And may we then abide breath by breath. until all beings are free. May we all be happy and have the true undying causes for happiness. May we be free from suffering and the mind of suffering. May we be glad and rejoice at the good fortune of this precious human life. And wish this good fortune for all beings. May we rest and dwell in the awakened heart mind of equanimity, free from all objectifying, free from all self-making, free from all clinging and all rejecting and all movement, and resting simply in this Buddha being. And may our practice today contribute, and may it continue so be it. All right, we're going to practice being Milarepa. We're not going to reject the demons. Just remember that there are no demons. There is only the demon-making mind. There are no demons, just the demon-making mind. And when you greet that, all is unified, right? And then we just invite the demons to tea. Right? Yeah. Just invite them in, little hut, right? Watch the other making. They go together. Other making is self-making. Self-making is other making. So if you see one side, the other side's already there, right? Because there's no sides. So the minute you go them, you can go, ooh, I just jumped into a big me right there. And when I'm going me, you're creating a lot of thems. And watch for it. See if you can't stop. Take that breath. Right? Open it up and begin again. There's our practice. So lovely to have you all. I can't believe everyone stayed. That's crazy because they couldn't hear us mostly. That's why you need to be here. You need to be here because you can't participate in all this amazing conversation if you're not here. We will be meeting next Saturday here. That will be here. The garden will be finished. I think it's supposed to get a little sunnier. Either way, right? Either way, be watchful. All right, everyone, blessings to you. Anybody would like to lick up any chai tea? By the way, Brenda, I have some portable cups and some chai tea in there if you would like some. Yeah.
This is Antonio.
Antonio, hello there. Hi there. I'm Diana. Good to meet you. Antonio, wonderful that you came.
Thank you so much. This is super nice.
Well, so lovely to have you. Please join us again.
So where's
That's right here.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
big pot, and I'm going to grab you a cup.
Diana, I'm gonna email you an introduction with my husband if you said you needed a lawyer.
Yes.
Real?
Oh, no, I really do. And I really need one in relationship to this dynamic,
Yeah,
interestingly. So that would be
yeah,
amazing.
he does. That's his whole. That's his whole.
That is
The dog park, so.
That's unbelievable. I
You were really
just,
just needing an
I
attorney
mean,
for
I
that.
really just
Yeah.
said yesterday, I think I better consult an attorney.
Yeah.
Cause my husband, went, I think you're gonna lose the farm over
I know,
this.
not if I'm pet sitting.
And I
or
was like,
something, I definitely
you
don't
know.
want
So you, oh, you have a
to
cannabis?
do
farm?
Huh?
You have a
Yeah,
cannabis
you
farm?
No,
Black
no,
market.
we're doing psilocybin journeys.
Yeah.
And there, of course, because of the circumstance we're currently in,
Yeah.
legally and otherwise, my husband's like, okay, so there goes the farm. Meaning,
Okay, got it. Yeah.
yeah, thank you for doing that,
Yeah.
because you just shot us, I think, in the head. Yeah, Pete and I are doing journeys. We've got one coming. Several people have, and we're doing it in the full protocol with the preps, the ceremony journey experience.
And you're Nicole?
I'm gonna send it to you because I just sent out an email.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, no, it's been amazing. Also, Margie would be someone to talk with about this. She would, yeah, she'd be very excited to share. She was just in our last February journey and would be really happy to. And we've been very involved with Numinous, which is a Canadian group that's doing the psychedelic assisted therapy training. Pete and I are doing some training. He's leading some trainings. So we're in the community. But yesterday my husband went, like, wait a minute, what happens when somebody says you something? It isn't going to stop me at all. And because I'm so, the clarity about its benefits is so striking. It's mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Fatal Ziden, I don't know if you know Fatal. Oh, I would love to introduce you
Yeah, we've
to him. He's at UCSD.
Okay.
He's an MD there. He would just, he is really doing just amazing stuff. He came from Harvard.
No, so my
They-
my husband.
Yeah.
Like usually like to do the dual language.
UCSD is really climbing. Ziden, I'll send you his info.
Okay.
Yeah, he's always a lovely guy.
I live in
And
Minnesota,
really
so-
committed to making UCSD one of the leads in this. And there is a certain cultural context for us here. We can tolerate it here
I'm 46.
in a way that we can't everywhere yet. So
Yeah, and he's-
San Francisco, Berkeley, Oakland are all, ahead of us, of course. Yeah, they have. So is Berkeley. So, yeah,
I was
we're
like
not
a
going to
late
get there, which is not this year. We will, but not this year. And Terre Haute, Indiana will be the last. Or somewhere in Texas. Yeah. Antonio, let me come say hello.
He's like struggling.
Good to meet
Nice meeting you.
Good to
Nice
meet
meeting
you. It was wonderful. I apologize, you were sort of
Joined
stuck out
us
in
like
the-
a cannabis.
No, that's
syrup.
fine. That's fine. I actually feel the
And like-
breeze from the.
Wonderful. And you dressed accordingly.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, good.
The guy had done like defense
Yeah.
work.
Well, you're not quite, but
Cannabis,
there is a backyard. We will be. in
Operators, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Criminal
Right, yeah.
But he was smart as all.
Then do you know what happened,
I should start
Brenda?
up
There
with
were
a
two
business,
gigantic trees there.
Smart.
A
And then
eucalyptus
Jeff
in
joined
this
us.
yard and a
Oh,
very
okay.
gigantic tree here. And these are new homeowners.
He was like.
And there were melaleucas here all along. the
That guy was
fence.
just
They've
like.
just
And you
been
guys are from
full-
Atlanta?
And
Yeah, we
she's
were
going
LA,
through a whole
and
new,
then he's from San
really
Diego.
redoing of Gelb. I don't know if you know,
And so
he was
then
ortho.
He kind of like.
surgeon used to live there.
Years ago.
And they've moved
So he-
in
so
and are
he
really,
joined this law
so
firm,
I
like,
think
oh, I don't know
everyone
if you've heard,
else changing it.
You make your
created a
own
whole different
hourly, so you
census
make
status
70% of
because
your
the
hourly living,
melaleucas
so
were
then the 30%
big
goes to
and-
the firm. So
But
he's like his
they
boss.
you couldn't even see that.
Business then, what is the?
Wow.
He's
In the old days, that.
operating
that
cost.
was-
Yeah, so he's basically his own boss.
No,
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
The melaleucas
Yeah, it's a really
were
cool.
actually
function.
hurting my
Brand new. They've
It's called
got
remote down there. So
remote.
actually,
Remote.
I
Are you
do.
gonna know something else?
It's like
She is, I am,
pomegranate.
she's, see those,
She's-
she's got covered.
Anyways, yeah, so he
And actually, financially, that is my preference. I don't know if there's another, but I don't mind that it's her pocketbook.
So he does, he was originally always covered all their bases. Yeah. But they, but their law firm, there's a couple other practicing guys that deal with like across the country. Their law firm is international. They have people all over the world. Their law firm was like really into COVID because they were remote based, work where you want
The
to.
remote one?
Yeah, remote
Oh.
before COVID
Oh,
happened.
smart.
So they were like so positioned for COVID. Like they
Yeah.
actually added a bunch of attorneys because the whole thing is remote. You answer your clients. We're just here for support and to like, if you need a tax lawyer,
Right.
there's a great remote
Good,
tax lawyer.
good network, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
that's
great network. Yeah,
Huh.
so it's a really cool farm structure.
Then you get business from referrals.
Yeah, and he was able to join because he already had his own client base going into it.
Got it,
So,
yeah. I'm interviewed, so I got, like, I got.
Yeah.
I would love somebody to this job because I've been doing this like software gig and I don't know, so I'd love to like.
No, of course,
to
he
get
knows,
there.
he knows the ins and outs of
And just so I
everything.
get like.
Because
okay,
like everyone who does cannabis, like they're also doing this.
mhm.
Like, this is a person who has a trade.
Like I like, it's interesting. I just like, I like being ahead of the curve and I love movement and I like, raising my practice community, but I'm
Yeah.
like, is it too early? That's kind of like the.
It is,
I would love
well,
to
I
get-
mean, it's, we've actually talked about it because, we've lost money investing in cannabis, because the cannabis isn't traded in the American stocks, but it's traded in Canada. So like, he's like had a couple of times like, well, let's invest in there. And then we just invested all of our money, you know what I mean? Like, we did not like, not like seriously.
Right.
But like, okay, we'll put like $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's no,
Yeah.
it's like you could make a bunch of money or
Yeah.
but anyway, so for the next thing is psychedelics, like mushrooms are going to be huge, but it's just the monetization is not there yet. So yeah, the question is like, well, how are you doing money doing this?
Right, and then, like when I really got into it, like I know the law firms that I'm interviewing with, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. No, and my husband's like a total money guy. Like he knows
Yeah.
everything, and it actually he lost a lot
And
of
then,
work
do you want the
hours
restroom,
working,
Brenda?
like, he has myself.
Okay.
Yes.
They just don't.
Please.
they're notoriously hard to find.
Anthony, this is.
Yeah, and it's like, but the clients who are, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's something to make money this year.
Yeah.
I'm like staying home all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
I hear about all this every day.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, mostly
it's
telehealth.
it's hard.
Anthony
It's hard
is
for
in,
anyone to
yeah,
get money. But then these
yeah.
people who do it, are like some of the cannabis people are, like just
and now
really
West
single
Coast
rich
recovery.
personally. So this is like the like
For
fun
hobby or whatever.
So
yeah.
some of them like have money, and then other people are like have been doing this for 20 years and they're just like worn out.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy. But I mean, eventually people keep investing in this like future. When you're talking about like it's gonna be big, it's like
When exactly, yeah,
And
exactly.
his politics are like so retarded.
Yeah.
That term, but, like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you know how it is in
Yeah.
democracy.
And then are
It's
they
just like a
gonna
total
do your
nightmare.
job?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and the black market's really problematic.
I had no idea. It was still
It's
such a.
horrible. The LA Times actually did a really good series on it.
Really.
Yeah, actually, I'm picking
Let
him
us
up.
use her bathroom.
Yes, they're interviewed. But yeah, I was
Nice
yeah,
meeting you.
please text me. Yeah.
I'm like, comment her. If he has.
And I know, I mean,
I'm
I didn't, so how did you get into this circle? Like, are you seeing her personally?
I
or-
was, yeah, I was referred to her from him.
Yeah.
I've done like in my
It'll be something.
mind,
Yeah,
like exploration.
So
and
I don't,
I'm
Yeah,
How
I'm
did you?
taking the mindfulness-based stress reduction course,
Oh, cool.
and my therapist recommended I do it, and I was wanting to get back in meditation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
great.
really
Yes, I'm
think
almost done with the course.
they really try to incorporate mindfulness and other somatic experiencing and other inquiry for. So I
Every week. So I'll probably come back when I can, but on
and that
Saturday.
continues.
Right, yeah, I'm gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I got a wedding next week.
Well, nice meeting
Yeah,
you.
I'm sure. Yeah,
We'll see you.
please, please text me.
There's a local Luciano guy who works at a Native American based or centric place. I guess it's right here by the sea.
It is.
called Akasha.
Yes.
Yeah, the Akasha Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but Mark, who works at Akasha, he does sweat lodges with clients on a weekly basis. So those, like it's all kind of like growing out of this
Oh,
West Coast
isn't
entity.
it
It's like it's one that
I noticed.
expanding cross-cultural, interdisciplinary.
Does he do a sweat lodge experience for anyone else, or is he specific to the indigenous community?
Yeah, you know, I don't know that
Because
he's
somebody else has done one down there, and I have a feeling it could be him, which means that I would like that info. If
right.
he is,
Yeah,
and if he isn't, I guess he knows.
totally. Yeah,
Right.
I'll talk to
Because I
Marty.
have a few people that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see him on Monday.
Would you like that? I'd appreciate it. Good to see you.
You too. We're deep today for some reason.
Oh, well, let's not, that's your mind. Yeah, don't know, no idea. I got nothing. You're so well. Oh, absolutely.
It was wonderful. It was a very, I agree with Anthony. I was like very, it really got me.
Good, well, that's the practice, that's what the practice offers. So good to see you, I hope to see you again. We'll be in the garden again next Saturday if that works.
Happy, yeah.
Are you-
When it doesn't work, and I'll be gone.
Because you're
After the
going,
11th,
right.
because I'm going to live.
But
for a month.
right?
No,
Or
for 2
2
weeks.
right? And then you're going back.
And then I'm back, in, March,
Yeah,
and then we have a journey
Right.
at the end of March, and so that weekend I will.
Yeah. So did you do this?
I do this every Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, and we are on Zoom when I'm not here. So we just, because. Yeah, we do it 3 times a week, actually. We do it I'll send you the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's great. I don't even know what's their word. I haven't been, but I'm
Oh,
jazzed about.
Great, ruins and stuff.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
time to go see those.
Really excited about
Yeah.
that.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Nicole. Always good to see you.
See you too.
Yes,
and,
so we'll see you again whenever that works. I'm gonna put you in our newsletter.
Oh, perfect.
And our newsletter will tell you, if there's a little schedule in there. And then you'll see, oh, Saturdays, the next 3, we're only doing Zoom on this one.
And thank you so much for the referral to Jessica's
Yes.
course. I've been doing that. She's wonderful.
I know,
She's been great.
I
Yeah,
know, I
yeah.
love Jessica. Good,
Yeah, thank you.
wonderful.
Bye.
Brenda,
Oh,
so good to
great to
see
see
you.
you.
Oh, my goodness. I miss you. It's always
Oh.
so wonderful to connect with you.
Thank you.
Whenever that works for you.
Yeah,
Good
Nice
news.
meeting
And
you.
Antonio, I
Yes.
hope you will join us again as well.
I will. Yeah,
Wonderful,
thank you.
wonderful, good. Have it's gotten chillier.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has.
It's actually colder
Yeah.
than it was. Oh, no, I think it's official. Good morning, Juan. So that's Anthony. Okay.
Margie forgot her water bottle.
Uh-oh.
Dang it.
Okay.
This is taken on more, it's been more meaningful for me. Experiences. Something about the years going by with it, just.
No, I have an appointment with Morgan.
An appointment.
I said, you know, I
Yeah,
haven't
she's
seen
in a
you.
little, yeah, what is that, you know? There must be something for her, in her. You're not okay, or she's trying to separate something. And maybe the wedding. She did certainly, it doesn't seem like her. I wondered. Is she really, see, I was thinking maybe she was separating the way feelings. So it is that, just not in the way I was. No, I do.
Hola, amigo.
I remember that.
Bien.
I remember sitting with them and saw the split. But I think the person who has been in that body, but more importantly in that mind. It's until you're ready to deal with whatever that's. It isn't even the body, right? Whatever else you I know she did. She did. She was 160 pounds or something, was unbelievable. And she's like, what, 6'1" at least? Isn't she? She's gotta be Tanner's height. Yeah, it feels like she's really, I do sense it. Because it's sort of like she's busy or she's, and you know, there's a little bit of shutdown because of her work. Right, she's not totally, right, she's not connecting. I'm just looking at it. Crap. How about some lettuce? Parsley? I could cut you some. Look at all this lettuce. See all that? I like it.
Otro lado, sí. Mi hija va a tener un bebé. No quiero. Okay, abuelo. Abuelo, yo tengo 44 años. Mi niña tiene 18 y va a tener un niño. En este mes. Tiene 20.
Oh, yeah, Juan's daughter's.
Niña.
What about his daughter?
His daughter's having a baby,
Oh.
and she's just said abuelo. Like he's gonna be a grandpa.
Oh.
I'm gonna go get you a scissor and a bag. Is that right?
Yeah.
Will you unplug my thing?
Yeah.
Es bueno. No va a poder dormir. Se va a llorar la niña. La noche. Mucho gusto. Sí.
Oh, I wish I could speak Spanish,
Yeah,
especially in this world, in this part of the world.
yeah. I need to brush up for sure. It's like my listening is very good. You know, I can understand all of it, but in terms of speaking, I
Responding.
get some that.
Yeah. I missed that opportunity at some point in my life. I mean, I speak 2 languages, but not very many people in the world speak Dutch, so.
Oh yeah.
Anthony, can I give you some tangerines?
Oh sure.
How about it? Cause I
Yeah.
got, I'm gonna make the pick in the next 2 days.
Yeah, I love tangerines.
All right, here we go.
Sure.
Lemons.
Sure. Yeah. Tori.
Lemons. How about
Tori.
that?
Tori digs the lemons. So, yeah.
I don't have another bag, but I want to put this in something.
Cool. Here, you know what? I've
You
got
got
these
pockets?
amazing pockets.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Look at this.
Yeah.
The tangerine sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So this is fabulous.
Yeah.
And cilantro, parsley,
Oh, wow.
anything down there?
Sure.
Let's
sure.
go down and
Yeah.
make some picks.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to leave next week
Okay.
for Tulum, so we will not, Look at my rock. It's right there.
Juan, it looks good. Yeah, mucho bueno.